This tutorial is to show you how to create a combo box. This is a combo box. So it doesn't take up any much room on your GUI, but yet you can show a bunch of items in it. Also, how do you interact with the combo box? Like, how do I get this selected value? If I choose Jupiter, how do I grab it from there and use that in my code? So you have to do this import tkinter as tk. We talked about this in previous tutorials, using the tkinter module to create the GUIs. As tk means, instead of typing in tkinter every time I want to create a widget or a form control, I don't have to type in tkinter, I just type in tk dot the name of the form control, the name of the widget. I'm going to be using a ttk for the for the combo box. I think the ttk module that's part of tkinter. I think this allows more modern form controls, more modern looking form controls. I really don't know. All right, don't worry about this method yet. This creates the main window. We talked about this in previous tutorials. Set the size and in position the title of the window. I need a label that goes in front of the form control of the widget. Which planet will you be boxing on? So that's what this line does right here. I name it my label. I always prefix it with the form control that it is, so it's a label, which planet. And then here's me creating a label, tk.label. Instead of saying tkinter, I can say tk, because I said import tkinter as tk. It's a label, goes on the main window, and here's the text. It goes in the label. Put the label in the grid, so label name, label which planet, the label name, dot grid. I'm going to put it, this one's on row 2 because on row 1 was my spinner. That's why I said row 2. Column 1, put some horizontal padding to the left and right of it, 5 pixels to the left and right, and vertical padding on top and bottom, 5 pixels. Sticky means I want it to go to the west end of the column, the left side. Stick it to the left align it, if you will. Combo box. I got this code from this website, by the way. Alrighty, so when I want to, this planet selected variable, it's a string variable, it's going to store whatever the user selects. Okay, so this is what you use. This you create a variable called string variable, and now we're going to associate this variable to the combo box when we build it, when we create it. Here it says creating the combo box. So here's my combo box variable. I prefix it with something that tells me it's a combo box, and it's a combo box that holds planets. Here's me using ttk.combobox, capital C. So I'm creating a combo box right here. I put it on the main window. I give it a width, 27, and then here's the variable. Okay, what variable is going to store the selected item? So it says text variable equals, well, the planet selected variable is going to store my selected item. Okay, so that's what that variable is for. Now we got to add. How do I add things? Because right now the combo box is empty. So here's how you add them. Combo box name, and then open brackets, square brackets, values. The values that's going to be inside the combo box are, and then this comma delimited list of strings. Any comma delimited list of strings you want. Here are my planets. Now you put the combo box in the grid. So I created it, and then the config, this is the width equals 10. Here's me playing around with the width. I don't think this does anything. I have to check. sorry, I skipped that. After I create it, I put the values in it. After I put the values in it, I put it on the grid. Doesn't matter the order. I put in row 2, but column 2 this time. Column 1 is the label, so column 2 is the checkbox. I give it some horizontal padding and some vertical padding. So some space to the left and right and some space top and bottom. I want to show the first item in my list. I want to show the first item. So it's showing Jupiter. I don't know. It should show Venus. That should say Venus. I don't know why it's showing Jupiter. I'll look into that. And then I want to bind it. So when the item is selected, when I select an item, I want something to happen. When you select and click on an item, you want something to happen. That is this event, the combo box selected event. So you need the syntax just like that. And then I want to go to this method, calculate weight. This is always the last line of your code that was talked about in the earlier tutorial. Make sure that this call to main loop is always the last line. So here's what happens when you click it. It comes to this event. I say I want it to go to calculate weight. That's this guy right here. Calculate weight, calculate weight. So it comes up here when I select an item, and it prints. It prints out, hey, a calc weight method. So I just tested did it come to this method or not. So I print out some kind of string. I then also want to see, can I get this item that was selected? So here's how you do it. There's that variable, planet selected. That's that variable right here. Planet selected that was tied into the combo box when you built it. See right here? This ties in that variable. So when you say planet selected.get, it's going to get the selected item and it's going to print it. If you can print it, you can also store it in a variable. So let's show the shell. So here's the shell. And let's show the GUI. Alrighty, so I clicked on Neptune. So see, here's that little method. Here's a little string, calc weight method. Every time I click it, that little string is going to show up. See, calc weight method, and then there's that Jupiter that I selected. Jupiter. Select a different one. Uranus. Calc weight method, Uranus. Alrighty. This calc weight method is from the very first print statement, and you typically do that. This is typically the first thing you do. Once you know that it's working, you take it out. You comment it out or just to delete it. Okay? It's just for debugging purposes only. So, I hope this helps. How to create a combo box and how to interact with it and how to get the selected item and store it in a variable. This is me getting it and storing it in a variable. Right now it's commented out. You'd have to uncomment that out. Thank you for listening.